Hello, my name is Zach Rye with Old Man Gaming. Hello, everybody. So, slight snafu on the podcast today. And it is, of course, my fault. I made a mistake because I was sleepy and did not notice it until about 50 minutes into the podcast. I didn't think it would have made as much of a difference as it did, but Neil's audio is turned way down, like way down. So, here is the issue. I have decided to post it. I'm going to leave out any bonus or opening content, mainly because you can't really hear Neil in it, so even as funny as it was, it's not worth it. So, I'm just going to put the podcast up. Like I said, I don't know, once the podcast is edited, it's probably going to be like 40 or 50 minutes, but I got to record this before I can edit it, because this is going to go in first. But somewhere around 40 or 50, his audio is going to come back. I'm turning up the audio as loud as I can, so you have to play with it on your side. And if it's unlistenable and you don't want to listen to it, don't listen to it. Don't watch it. Like, don't force yourself to do it. We put our work into it. There's nothing else I can do to fix it, so I'm just going to try and put it out. And, if you guys want to watch it, you can. If not, I understand. We'll be back next week. The problem will be fixed. I apologize ahead of time. So, with that in mind, here we go.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and you, dear listener, for whatever reason, have chosen to listen to another Horrible Gaming Podcast. I'm not alone. I'm usually never alone. With me is
Neil, a.k.a. Tiny Wizard.
I am tired, everybody. For my own personal reasons that may or may not be posted in a bonus or an opening. We're going to do another Just News show. I know. I had a talking point for today that would be fun. We're going to do in a future show, but we just don't have it in us today. Neil, just for everybody's edification, not to blow shit up because I know they check stuff like this, but he works for a cell phone company, and they just launched the new iPhone, so he has been very busy at work. So neither one of us... Right.
You know. So
we're gonna do fan interaction. We're gonna do some news, and then we're gonna call it a day. Might be a nice short one, hopefully. I'm sure there's things for me to get ranty about, but before all that, we've got to thank the people who make this possible. Behind our ugly mugs, you see a custom graphic that was provided by Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And then, of course, the theme song for this show and all of the shows here at Old Man Gaming is provided by the man who makes the music, my brother Nick Van Sliders. We thank him for that. And then, with that out of the way, we'll be right back with Interaction.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our first topic. Our most important topic. And that is fan interaction, which I have not even brought up yet because I am a moron. So, right, failure,
sometimes
failure.
Quality, we like to strive for higher quality. Sometimes it doesn't happen. We're in the mediocre right now.
So, I am here. We start with Jason. Minecraft is no way, shape, or form needs a live-action movie. If they made an animated movie similar to the Netflix stuff, sure. Yeah, maybe, but, it's just one of those things that, do we need to make a movie out of this? Like, certain games, to me, feel like cash grabs when they become movies. And a game about digging up dirt and rocks and making structures out of them seems like a crash grab to make this movie. I mean, granted, I love the Lego movie, and that's just blocks. But, you can't, Lego movie did it in such a creative way, you really can't reproduce it without being that's just the Lego movie with Minecraft. So, I don't know. It just feels like cash grabby to me. Like, we don't need this. We don't need Jason Momoa and Jack Black hijinks over Minecraft in the background. Like, just make a Jack Black, Jason Momoa movie. Make him a buddy cop film or something. Who knows? Like, why does it have to be Minecraft? Like, it's just silly to me.
Yeah, what I find funny too is I feel like this is like a movie that if it came out 5/10 years ago would maybe have been not so much a joke, but more like oh wow, okay, still cash grabby, but like it's been turned into a joke with the casting they have and just the horrendous like effects that we've seen in that first trailer.
yeah. I don't know. Like, this isn't even like the old school, like, Zach doesn't think video games should be made into movies. I still don't, but like, this is so much farther past that. Why are we making this? Why are we making this? At this next post, Jason, I don't know what to do with this, because this literally inspires a vitriol within me that I cannot even begin to describe. That I don't have the level of energy required to respond to it. And then at the end, you said something wonderful. So, like, I don't know what to do with this post, but I'm going to read it. Here we go. Best pies in no particular order: key lime pie, pecan pie, sugar pie, blackberry pie, cheesecake, I would not call it a pie, beef pot pie, coconut cream pie. All right, I'm on board with that one. Then you go lemon meringue pie and banana cream pie. Then he says, neither apple nor cherry make the cut. They're both basic, boring pie. And then he finishes off with the nice thing where he says, also pie is far superior to cake. I don't know what to do with this. I'm so embroiled with emotions of hate and love right now that I have no idea how to respond to you, Jason.
I don't know what sugar pie is.
I've had sugar pie.
What is sugar pie?
It's like it's hard to describe. It's like pie, but you bake this like. Look it up when we're done. I don't have the mental energy to weave the words required to describe it to you. But I don't like sugar pie. It's too much for me. I don't like any of these pies that he named, except for coconut cream pie. I will say the only pie my wife eats is pecan pie. So you got that one right. I don't know that I would consider cheesecake a pie. I know it's very pie similar. But cheesecake's okay. Beef pot pie? I don't know what to do with you, man. I don't know what to do with you right now. And to say that cherry is basic, boring pie. No, it's a classic. It's a standard bearer. It walks first with its flag into battle, sir. Your weird-ass pies do a lot of work. I'm sure they do. But cherry pie holds the flag, sir. Thank you very much. Same with apple.
Honestly, banana cream is that shit.
I hate banana.
The cheesecake one, though, I can see where the argument is
Yes,
made,
I can see it. I can see it.
But then we're getting into that level of
what's pie? What is pie?
Taco a sandwich, because cheesecake does have pie.
You realize that because you said this, and I mean this with all due respect, Jason is a fucking psychopath, and he is going to be like, here is whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not, here's whether a taco is a sandwich or not. I cannot agree with any of this, and it fills me with vitriol. I will say I love a coconut cream pie. I like a French silk pie. I also like some crazy-ass variants of apple pie. My wife makes an apple pie for Thanksgiving in which the crust is cinnamon buns. Like the cinnamon buns, they're fucking amazing. So like she takes the Pillsbury cinnamon buns, right? Okay. Like that come in the tube, right? Yeah. She takes 2 of those. She makes a base along the bottom. Then she puts in the apple filling. Like she makes some apple filling, puts that in, then puts the cinnamon thing over the top, cooks it, and then drizzles the cinnamon, the glaze over the top. Jason, if you don't like that, I don't know if we could continue to be friends, because that is heaven in your mouth, whether it is basic or not. Nonetheless, I appreciate that you are a pie man. I appreciate that you are a card-carrying pie man. I'm a pie man as well. Favorite pies in my household, I, of course, cherry. My child enjoys pumpkin, and she is the only member of our immediate family that likes pumpkin, which is really strange. Good.
I feel like pumpkin pie was one of those things, like, when I was younger, I was all about pumpkin pie. And
Yeah.
I think there's, like, this maximum amount of pumpkin pie that a human can consume in their life.
That might be.
And I've already reached that threshold. Like, I don't enjoy pumpkin pie so much anymore. Unless it is my from-scratch pumpkin pie, in which I actually cut open a pumpkin-ass pumpkin and scoop out the guts
Oh.
and roast it and puree it.
Wow, you're getting crazy with that. Still, she really likes pumpkin pie. I do not. I cannot stand it. I don't like pumpkin spice things or the craze for pumpkin spice. But my wife is pecan pie. And then I believe the great and all-powerful Philbilly is an apple pie, if I am not mistaken. I could be mistaken. Philbilly, if you listen, let us know what your pie is. They gotta know what a founder's pie is. What's your favorite pie?
See, my pies are like fat pies.
That's
They're
fine.
Like
It's fine.
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Holy shit!
Like, yeah.
I'm sorry, that was a bad judgment. I just did when you said fat ass. I thought you were gonna go with like a French silk or something, and you're like
No.
candy bar.
Dude, so I have a pie recipe that I actually won a contest with.
Really?
That yes,
Award-winning pie.
It's only got a handful of ingredients, but I get Reese's peanut butter chips, melt them down, and cream them together with cream cheese, heavy whipping cream, and sweetened condensed milk, and then chop up just a bunch of Reese's and mix that all together. Spoon that into an Oreo graham cracker crust, and then get like Reese's Pieces and just.
That sounds really good. The simplest recipes are the best. I challenge anyone to come into this house and eat my tater tot casserole and not enjoy it, and it is
Can
4
confirm.
ingredients.
Can confirm.
Damn, I cooked it for you? Yeah.
Yes.
Tater tot casserole for life. And it's 4 ingredients. 4 ingredients. Okay, alright, but we need to stop with the cooking podcast.
15 minutes on pie.
This is the show. Continuing back into the video game world, Jason says, I have faith in Undead Labs' vision. I don't have faith in Microsoft's willingness to let them fulfill that vision. And that is my problem, Jason. Every Microsoft game, every game that has been owned by Microsoft, when it has been released, like from start to finish, has been terrible, with the exception of Hi-Fi Rush. Everything has been, and I think the racing games have been okay, but like overall, their overall games have not been well received for a very long time. And you gotta wonder if it's not the Microsoft's problem. The other thing I don't like about this is Undead Labs. Great, I love you. You made some. There was definitely a lot of bugs in State of Decay 2, but the game was solid. They stuck around. They fixed it. I appreciate that. And their vision was always there. And if you liked that vision, this was your kind of game. The thing is, though, is how do we keep that vision from getting muddled up when you have the Coalition in there, when you have the ground, when you have Obsidian in there? I just feel like there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and I very much hope I am wrong. Very much hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those two that I also feel like it was an early announcement and it's been a long dev cycle. I just feel the running expectations at this point is it's going to be at best meh.
Yeah.
Which who knows until it actually comes out.
I mean, I hope it's good. I really do. I want it to be good. And State of Decay 2 was great. I mean, it was almost a perfect game by the time it was done. I mean, at least in its core concept. Like, I want to see them evolve that, you know? But I'm just afraid that every evolution turns into bullshit, you know? And, like, that's, I mean, especially under Microsoft's banner. Continuing, Jason says, Undead Labs pretty much stopped working on State of Decay 2 a while ago. Another studio, Wushu, has been working on it. Grounded uses the shared game file system. I can have a Grounded save and let others have access to it. Anyone in that group can start up a session and others can join in. I assume that State of Decay 3 is going to use something like this if they're working with Obsidian. This is exactly what they're going to be using, Jason. I believe it's been confirmed since our last podcast, like that is their goal with this. I am hoping, though, that it's not something that it's something you control access to, because Grounded works like that it's something you kind of control access to, like you invite your first friend and then they can invite their friends. I'm very afraid, though, that like in practice there's going to be no limits on that, you know. I don't want an MMO, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't want a zombie MMO, and I'm very afraid it's going to slowly snowball into that. But if it sticks to what Grounded is, I'm all for that. It's dedicated servers, and I think that would be absolutely awesome. As far as them not working on State of Decay 2, this is correct. They were basically not working on State of Decay 2. I believe the last two major updates on State of Decay 2 were done by this Wushu. I think the Wildcard update, or whatever that one was called. Still, they hadn't strictly announced that they were done until now. Like, this was when they actually put a press release out and said, we are done with this game. Moving forward, we're working on State of Decay 3. Continuing, Jason again. As someone who used to play GTAO to death, GTA 6 has no interest for me. My nephew is looking forward to it, though. Why, man? Is it because you're sick of the game? Like, I'm interested to know why GTA 6 has no interest to you if you really enjoy GTA Online. And that's not me challenging you. I'm very curious to hear more on that. Like, if you really liked GTAO, why does GTA 6 not interest you? Do you think they're going to screw it up? Do you think that you've just played too much of it? Like, what's the reasoning behind that?
I almost wonder, because I kind of approach things this way to some degree as well. My interest in some games is limited based off of the amount of time required for that game compared to the amount of time that I've already put in something that I already enjoy. I kind of approach that same sort of idea with Skyrim. Part of the reason why I've only had 2 Skyrim saves ever is because I had my first one on Xbox 360, and that's where I put so much time and effort into. Naturally got myself up to, I think it was like level 79 before I ended up stopped playing that version, because my stuff didn't transfer over. And that was a huge thing for me, was going through and like, okay, I have to start all the way from scratch again. So I have to go through all the places that I've done, things that I've done, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, all over again. That had kept me for the longest from starting a new save, until everything kind of got to be old hat to me. So then, yeah, I'll go ahead and start a new file at that point, because then I don't remember what it was that I did previously. I almost wonder if it's something along those lines, because I know I would approach something like GTA Online that same exact way.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's very possible. Very possible. Then continuing, finally, Jason's last post. As an arachnophobe, I read a lot on arachnophobia. I read a lot on arachnophobia ages ago. One person grouped us into 2 primary groups, blunters and monitors. Blunters are the out-of-sight, out-of-mind types. They don't want to perceive spiders in any way, so if a spider crawls into some nook or under something, it's gone, and this is good. I am not a blunter. Monitors are likely to see a spider, no one else does. They're always keeping an eye out. But if they see a spider, as long as they know where it is, they're fine. Because if it's over there on the wall, it ain't stalking you under a desk. It's when you lose sight of the spider, they will get paranoid. This is me. I am a monitor. The more you know, Rainbow Star. Thank you, sir. That is very interesting. I'm not really afraid of spiders, but I would consider myself a monitor just because I've usually lived in places where I have just a lot of spiders all the time. So, like, I'm just always aware. Like, my periphs, I feel like, are always scanning for spiders. I also know that I have to get to them before my wife sees them. And before my daughter sees them. Because if my daughter sees them, she will be very upset if I kill the spider. Very upset.
I think my sliding scale all depends on if it is supposed to be there. Is it in my home? Yes, no. Okay. If it is in basement, spider typically live in basement.
Yeah.
Garage, that sort of thing. Fine. Is spider in bedroom? Spider no in bedroom. Spider bad.
When Stella was young, she'd get a little freaked out by bugs outside. She'd want to kill them. I'd always say, and I try to say this to any kids I'm around, I'm like, hey, don't kill bugs outside unless they attack you. Like, there's just no reason for it. If they're on you, or they're in your house, they violated your territory, okay, defend yourself. But, like, you shouldn't just run around a yard killing ants for the sake of killing ants. And, like, Stella has taken that to heart now, where, like, if I slap a mosquito, I get, like, read the riot act of, like, why are you always killing bugs?
Mosquitoes have that potential, though.
They do. Finally, our last message. William Hohen. Hi! Exclamation point. Man, sorry you're sick. Parentheses again. Will, you're a dad. You know the drill when the kids go to school. You know the drill. I know you know the drill. You're right. They should let somebody use the Castlevania IP. Amen. Just anybody. There's so many good companies out there that do so many good platformers. Any of them would absolutely cream their jeans to be able to make a Castlevania game. Fuck, let them, you know? How much did Wizards of the Coast make on Larian doing Baldur's Gate 3? You know, like I know it's a kind of a different situation, but license that shit out.
Well, I mean, honestly, you got to figure too. There's twofold in that. I feel like there is the licensing that they got, but I feel like Baldur's Gate 3 opened D&D up to some other people, and even some of us who've been into D&D. I have seen the Baldur's Gate, the Journey to Avernus book multiple times. And in my collecting of the D&D 5e books, I typically only ever go for the ones that are supplements, not pre-built campaigns, because they have the most stuff in them. However, that's one of the ones that I'm trying to find now. And there was a period of time where that book spiked in price because the demand was crazy for it.
Yeah, because Avernus is huge in Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I think it's very interesting. And you have, did you see the, completely random, did you see that there's modders already working on making Avernus maps? Like, yeah. Phil's already been playing with those mods a lot. A lot. He's been telling me about him, and I'm like, that sounds cool. I've like promised myself I'm not going to go back to Baldur's until I'm done with all the things I want to play right now other than that, because once I go back in, I'm not coming out for a while. Alright, so to finish his post, some phenomena around Concord made me think about some pandemic stuff, like toilet paper, amongst a few other things. Yeah, it was kind of weird like that, wasn't it? It definitely reminds you of that. Then he continues, about the possible upcoming crash. No. Crash is happening. Not possible upcoming. Current existing crash. Thank God I have a bunch of old games to play. Long live retro gaming. Still sucks for the people working in the gaming industry, but if there was no more new games being released, I don't think I would notice, really. Please no cherry pie! You wound me, sir. You wound me. Congrats on 500 subs. Not a small feat. Thanks for the show. Hashtag sick again and again and again. So, yes, long live retro gaming. I also don't think that AA or single A games are going to crash in any way. I mean, just look at the things that the Larian guy said. He straight up came out and said that he doesn't think the layoffs were necessary. He thinks it's the reason of mismanagement. I think that like AA and single A games have not become overbloated and oversaturated with what they are trying to accomplish within their own company walls. I think AAA, and whatever fucking Quad A is supposed to be gaming, that's the thing that we're watching crash. That's the thing that we're watching crash. Because retro gaming and new retro gaming is doing just fine. Just fine. I do want to say also a quick shout out to William Hauuen. His channel also hit 500 subscribers just recently. Congratulations, sir. You deserve it. Love your channel. Love your podcast when it comes out. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. And I appreciate you being a fan of us all this time as well. And that is it for fan interaction, sir. So we're going to go away for a second. And we'll come back with the news. Pause.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the news. Neil collects news stories that don't necessarily deserve a talking point, although we don't have a talking point this time. And he wants to let us know about them. He wants to riff about them. We want to talk about them. So, Neil, take it away.
So we're going to go ahead and start with the biggest one that has happened that we've kind of speculated on whether if it was going to happen at some point. But Nintendo is suing Pocket Pair over Pal World. Now here's the crazy thing about this is it is not on the grounds of patent infringement, but copyright.
No, that's wrong. You got that backwards.
It is.
You have that backwards. It's not copyright, it's patent.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I read it wrong on here.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
I could tell by the way you were saying it that you meant it to be not because everybody thought it was going to be copyright. I could tell. You read it backwards.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I read it backwards on my typing.
Do you know why they have come after the patent? What patent they've come after?
So, what I saw was the correct, it's the capturing the monsters in balls.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. So, first of all, well done, sir, on being completely well versed on it. I read a bunch of stuff on this because I think this is bullshit. At first when I saw this, I felt like, were they just waiting to see if Pocket Pair was successful and now they're going after them? And then they weren't. They weren't at all. They were trying to find a way to sue them. So I talked to my wife about it, who, is versed in some legal things. And the first thing I said, I told her about it right off the bat, they're suing. And nobody knew why at the point because they hadn't, that it was, at first everybody thought it was copyright when they first heard the suit had been filed. That's what all the stories thought, was that it was copyright infringement. The thing that they were always going to go after him for. And Melissa was actually they're not going to win that. And I was like, why? And she was like, judges hate copyright infringement cases that you wait too long on because you've given them precedent. Not only that, you're wasting time and money and effort on something you weren't sure that you could do in the first place. If you're sure that they're violating your copyright, you have to do it right away. You have to take action. You have to hit them. And we've talked about this before on things when this has come up because trademark and copyright are things that actually have to be defended. They're not things that just have protection, especially with the whole Flappy Bird thing going on. I don't know if you got that in your stuff.
It's not on the list because I just briefly skimmed that, more so for the Flappy Bird is coming back. That's interesting.
That's some evil shit going on there. And I'll talk about that when we get to it. But you have to defend copyright. You have to defend trademark. So she was like, they're not going to win that if it's copyright because they've waited too long. And I was like, that's really interesting. So then we find out it's patent. These lawyers have just been like trying to find a way to sue Pocket Pair since this game has come out. And it took them this long to be like, this is a patent infringement. And basically, Pokemon Company owns a patent much in the shittiest ways. Like everything we bitch about, like the Nemesis system being patented and stuff like that. They own an actual patent on the way the video game catches in a ball. Like, it's the entire process that you have to hurt the monsters so much damage, and then there's a random chance based on that damage. There's also, like, I believe the aiming and throwing process of the ball is included in this patent. So it is a system, it is a video game system that is patented to Pokemon. And Pocket Pair replicated that. Unbeknownst to them, they were just thinking, it's a ball, you throw it at them, you catch the monster. This is how you would do that systematically in the game. But because of that, they're suing them. So, yeah, it's dirty bullshit.
Yeah, and there's been some other articles that are like that I've read about it. Like, one of them was saying that, which I feel like is true, Nintendo does like to pick and choose what they go after. There was an article I was reading. It was somebody who used to work at Nintendo said that there was a point in 2017 where they said that they could have sued half of the video game industry. So it's like, you know, they want to only when they really want to. I
feel like they sue a lot more than every other company out there when it comes to this shit.
Well, I mean, you got to figure too. Nintendo, their whole thing is their IP. I mean, they go out of their way to sell a console that's less powerful than anything else, knowing full well that they'll be able to move those.
Zelda, Mario, Pokemon.
Yeah,
yep.
Mario, all those stuff. Now, you did bring up the Flappy Bird thing. Like I said, I only briefly skimmed an article about that, so I'm not quite sure 100%. I know it was something like the original creator is not super involved with it or something.
We'll talk about it in a second because I don't want to jump off this quite yet.
Okay.
I do want to add to what you just said. I think that you're right on a lot of stuff. I think that Nintendo is very suit heavy, and IP is interesting because as a common man, you know, as the common person, right? Your knee-jerk reaction when a big company sues a smaller company is like, what the fuck, dude? Like, they're just trying to make their way in the world. But there is a strong argument. IP has to be defended. It's like trademark. It's like copyright. It is not like other things that, like, just you automatically have those rights. They are things that if you don't defend them in a court of law, you lose access to them. You set precedent. So when Nintendo decides not to sue somebody, they're saying everybody else can do this too. And, like, so it's tricky. It's real tricky because, yes, it's a big, evil fucking corporation going after a small company. My thing is, how much damages has Pocket Pair really caused to the Nintendo company? Like, let's really break this down. How many people are not playing Pokemon because they're playing Pal World? Nobody. Like, are people who play Pokemon also playing Pal World? Sure. But, like, Pokemon is made mostly for kids. Nobody's letting their kids shoot an AK, like, have their fucking, you know what I mean? Like, murder Pokemon if they're watching. Like, it's just, I don't feel like they're infringing on their territory at all. They could both coexist in the world. And honestly, Pokemon needs competition. I understand the IP thing, but Pokemon needs competition. Their games have slipped into a lull of just sadness. They have been shitty make after shitty make that have just been phoned in with bugs rampant in the games, systems that don't quite work. hack to shred Pokédex. They need competition. You need competition, and you don't have any. So you got like, it's good that Pal World's around. As far as the patent stuff, like, I don't understand why they didn't cease and desist them first. I feel like the evil part of this is not necessarily that they're trying to stop them from doing something that they want to protect. The fact that they are going, and this is Nintendo, is that they go shock and awe on everybody day one. Send them a cease and desist letter. Let Pocket Pair rewrite their code a little bit so that it's a cube. And then everybody wins. But they don't want to do that. They want to sue them for money so that they can't exist anymore. And they want to use this as a way in so that they can take them out. And that's the problem that I have with this. You know, this isn't you defending IP. This is you using a loophole to destroy a smaller company that struggles even with their success. Like, this is punching down in the most basic attempt, in my opinion. As far as the response, I guess. Like, how many creators in other spaces get cease and desist letters? You know? Like, they get cease and desist letters from Nintendo, and they stop. Send it, like a measured response, you know? The Flappy Bird thing. So, quick history lesson. Flappy Bird was a mobile sensation, went viral. It was just this really simple game a really simple but hard game made by a Vietnamese kid named David Nugent. Okay, David Nugent went crazy because it got really popular. Like, he lost his kind of mind and he said, "I hate this now," and he pulled it off the internet after, like, I want to say like 6 months. He pulled it completely off the internet. He did not want to be that popular. He didn't want it to win. He pulled it down. And then he kind of went into, like, hermitage, almost. Like, he posts here and there in social media, but he doesn't really do anything. Fast forward, there's this company called the Flappy Bird Foundation or something like that. This company is founded with the sole goal of bringing Flappy Bird back for whatever reason. However, here's the skepticism, is the guy put in charge, don't remember his name from the article, is heavy in NFTs. He's heavy into cryptocurrency. He's heavy into all the shitty shit you don't like about mobile games. And so they have purchased the rights. They announced that they purchased the rights for Flappy Bird. They're bringing it back. Here's the trick to this, though. The reason they're able to do this is they actually didn't really purchase it. Nugent didn't do anything with the trademark. And then they basically filed a suit saying that, hey, he's not doing anything with the trademark. It's lapsed. He didn't defend his IP. It's up for grabs. So then he didn't respond to that. When he didn't respond to that, the judge ruled in favor of the Flappy Bird Foundation. And then the Flappy Bird Foundation, I think, bought the original stuff from the original company that Nugent published it through, because Nugent had no right to it anymore. He gave up the trademark right. So then everybody went after Nugent, and Nugent was like, I didn't sell this. I have nothing to do with this, and I'm against crypto. So that's why you have to defend your copyright and your trademark. If you don't do it, people could just take your shit. Like, in IP land, people just take your stuff if you don't defend it. So this is an evil company, super evil company, this Flappy Bird Foundation. NFTs, crypto, everything. They're bringing back Flappy Bird to just attach it to a ton of that mobile bullshit. And they did it in a really evil way by, like, taking it from Nugent, basically.
Yeah, but I feel like Flappy Bird was a product of its time. I think it's going to have its 15 minutes of fame when it comes back around, and it's just going to fade back out into obscurity.
I think it's going to get hammered, because I think it's going to have a bunch of this extra bullshit in it. And I think even IGN will go after it when they find out all the, like, NFTs and cryptos are in it or whatever, you know? All right, we can move on.
Just because we kind of talked about mods a little bit here not too long ago, EA is going to start doing paid mods for The Sims 4. As it stands, there's no information as to like if creators are going to get a cut or what that cut is going to be or what. If it's being done by EA, I'm sure it's going to be done in the most shittily done manner that it possibly can be. Anything that's paid mods that the company themselves is like going out of their way to promote ain't great, especially with the just ridiculous amount of paid DLC and everything associated with that game. I mean, they've all but basically confirmed too that there's not going to be a Sims 5, or if there is, it's going to be long from now because the cow is still producing milk.
Okay, I want to send out a call to anybody listening who plays Sims 4. I would like it if you commented, and if you don't want to comment, like DM me on our Discord. I want to know why you are still willing to play that game. Those people, like, of the games out there that are shitty to their own player base, Sims 4, they have been just curb stomping you guys for the last, 3 years. And I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you for what you play. I want to know why you're willing to put up with it. Because every time any news that comes out about Sims is just evil shit every fucking time. And just some of the worst evil shit. Like, we're not even talking about, like little crap things, like microtransaction bullshit, tons of bullshit DLC prices, shitty. Now they're making you pay for mods, for player generated mods. Like, I want to know why you're willing to put up with it. Like, is the game that good? Is there nothing else like it? I want to know. Like, and this is a judgment-free zone. I am not upset with you. I have played some shitty. I bought Skull and Bones for way above the asking price. That's how I will make it even with you. I am an idiot too. I purchased Skull and Bones for way too much for early access. So I'm an idiot too. But I want to know why you're willing to. I want to know what the hook is there. And I also want to know, are you going to switch to Inzoi when it comes out? Because that game looks real fucking good. Comparatively speaking.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, for sure. Just have to have a machine that can actually run it.
That's true. It is a very powerful game. Okay. That's all I had to say about that. And again, I am not being judgy. I want to hammer that home. Not judgy on Sims 4 people. I literally am interested and curious as to why you guys put up with this so much.
So from there, GameStop is getting ready to close some more stores, it seems. There was a financial statement made basically saying that GameStop is not doing what it needs to do effectively. Absolute shocker, I know. Nobody goes into GameStops anymore. So the company is just going to keep closing down locations. As for how many and when, that is yet to be known. As it currently stands right now, going into the holiday season here soon, I would anticipate if there are going to be any closures, it will be after said holiday season, and they'd probably make those cuts based off of performance of those locations.
I mean, is it finally happening? Is this cockroach finally gonna die? I don't know.
I think what I think they will do is they might do one more round of closures, and they will file for, I forget which bankruptcy is the one that allows you to restructure. But they'll file for whatever that bankruptcy is that will allow them to stay open and operate and just completely change their model. And I almost wonder if they will end up going towards that retro model of store to where they will do like a hybrid sort of thing, which, by the way, you remember a couple weeks back when I had mentioned that we have one of those locations near us, and I was going to go. I never got to mention this to you because there was barely anything to tell. I was thinking that it's a full location. It is a shelf in the store. It's not. It's a GameStop retro in that they sell a handful of things there in the store. Like some GameCube games, some like 360 games.
What a waste of time! Yeah. My thing is I don't know if the Hangout Space retro game model really works for monetary gains, at least to support a company of that size. So we'll have to see. I personally think GameStop is going to not exist sometime in the very near future. We'll have to see when that is, though.
Yeah, I still can't remember the last time that I've been into an actual GameStop.
Completely done. I think all of the ones around me closed, so I don't know if I can even find one.
So we kind of skipped around my list, so bear with me for a second.
No, you're fine.
Mine, the next one here is actually like a twofer.
Okay.
It's more Concord stuff. So some more info has come out. Apparently, it cost a whopping $400 million to make, and they only made about $1 million.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. $400 million to make this game. 8 years of development on this game. Why? Are we really saying this hero shooter required $400 million to be a playable good game? Like this is what we're talking about with the bloat. Okay, 8 years, $400 million on a slightly less passable Overwatch clone. We don't need games this big, and if you're spending this much money and this much time on a game, you're making a mistake.
Even worse is they were treating it basically like internally as a Star Wars universe. They refer to it as Sony's Star Wars project. They thought that it was going to get to that level of popularity, and it was going to be a big sprawling universe that they could revisit for, quote, endless projects. So I don't know what they were thinking of with that. And the second part of this twofer...
Why didn't they advertise it? I'm so confused by everything they did. Because I didn't even know Concord was out until it was out. And then we had all this spiraling train wreck stuff. Like, if it was that big a thing, if that was a big... Like, you look at Disney, like, I can't stop hearing about the Acolyte. Like, and it wasn't even good. Why wouldn't you advertise it? Why wouldn't I be hearing about it? Like, if this is your fucking magnum opus, why aren't you, you know what I mean, putting it out there in any way? And in God's sake, why are you starting a game universe with a hero shooter?
Right. That would be maybe like the midway/end result.
Right.
I would,
because everybody knows Overwatch for its story.
Right.
Like, come on, man. Like, it's a hero shooter. This isn't a story-based game. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's so many, even games as Surface games, so many better ways to introduce a sprawling Star Wars-like universe than a hero fucking shooter with payload missions, you know? I don't know. This is just, like, I almost feel like I feel bad for these developers. I really do, because they spent 8 years on this. They made no money. It was a catastrophic failure. But, like, how many times has this been mismanaged over those 8 years? Like, right up till release, you know?
Yeah, and you know what the you know what the best part about that is the Time Splitters 2 remaster actually outsold it. a PlayStation 2 game. This is the twofer, the second part of it. According to Game Rant, in the UK, Time Splitters 2 outsold Concord. That's how bad it was. I almost wonder if it was worse than God. I forget the name of that other game. The same thing. The one that died last year that we were talking about constantly. Well, that was one of them. Godfall was one
Babylon's
of them.
Fall.
Babylon's Fall. Yes.
You were obsessed with that one.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's already gone out of my mind, just like Concord here. It's going to be its final gasps. Nobody's going to be talking about it here soon.
I think they're going to be talking about it for a long time. Like as in the
wrong
ways.
As a cautionary tale. Take a look at what Concord did.
Again, though, why were you selling this for premium cost? If it's a games as service, your mission is player engagement. Like, that's what your mission. It's not sales. It's player engagement. If you're making Uncharted 5, you want sales. If you're making a games as service game, you want player engagement. It should be as cheap or free as you could possibly make it. That's when the microtransactions come in. Like, you want people to try it, and you want people to think, this is better than the thing I'm playing. Like, that's the only way to get them in the door. Why was this a $40 premium? You know what I mean? Like, a $40 game. Oh, there's so many things they did wrong on this. And just want to point this out. This game did everything wrong we've ever said has been wrong with a game release. Like, all in one. Like, anytime we were like, this is the mistake they made, they did all of them.
Yes. They didn't advertise it. They chased a trend. They charged a premium price.
Worked on it too long for too much.
Too long for too much. It's everything that could go wrong went wrong, or more so, every bad decision that could be made was made.
Yeah, it's arrogance and hubris and bloat. That's what it is.
Speaking of arrogance, hubris, and bloat, let's actually finish out on my one that I find quite hilarious. So Tetsuya Nomura was interviewed recently, and he was asked about some things. One of them being with Kingdom Hearts 4, what's going on with that. Of course, he had no information, but he apparently had said that this is going to serve as a reboot for the series.
Oh.
So it's going to be, quote, more accessible for people. But some of the things that came out of this interview, he understands that the story for these games is just so overly complicated and convoluted. He said that he's the only one who understands some of the story sometimes. He had also made mention that he is also aware that Kingdom Hearts 3 was like the 16th entry in the series, which was quite hilarious. But the other one that I just found absolutely hilarious is he's done work with like the Final Fantasy series as well. Mm-hmm. And he was asked in reference to the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, why all of his protagonists in his games are conventionally attractive individuals. His response was, when he was younger, he had a conversation with a classmate of his, and his classmate said, why do I have to be ugly in the game too? Why can't I be at least attractive in the game? So as a result, he made all of his main characters conventionally attractive, so ugly people would feel better about themselves.
No, that's nice. Thanks. From ugly people, I thank you, I guess. Yes. You know what? You know what would be even better than that? Just let us create our own characters. Let us make the character look like whatever we want it to look like, and then nobody will be upset.
The hair options and physics alone would be enough to crash the game. You would need that second disc just for character creation.
Funny.
And the games are going to take 30 years to be made.
All right.
That is all.
That's it? That's all of them?
That's it.
Right,
That's all of them.
Good stuff. We're done. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll plug some stuff, and then we'll be done.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, would you like to plug anything, sir?
It has begun. We have begun recording our next set of episodes for Ordo, and I do very much have to say, I feel like the second time around, now that we all know our characters and our characters have all kind of learned a little bit about each other, and we have learned how we play each other's our own characters, we have some great stuff. Right.
I think the role playing is going
yes.
really good, like chef's kiss good this time around. It is very nice. Very nice. Yeah, and that will be. We're hoping to release it soon because I know Wiz really wants to get it out in October for Symmetry. Wiz loves Symmetry. He just loves it. He loves symmetry with things. He just does. I don't really care. It comes out when it comes out, but he loves to, like, it's Halloween, let's do spooky stuff. So he's hoping that we could get that out by then. I don't know if we will because I want at least us to be most of the way through the campaign before we start releasing them, just to make sure we can not miss a week.
Yeah.
But so it will be probably coming before the end of this year. I'll say that. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's on the TTRPG side. On the game side, I got some reviews coming. I already got some up. I just did a review of Riders Republic, and I'm sorry, don't like doing negative reviews, but it was a negative review. I also did one of Wayfinder that you guys were really liking. They're both blowing up. And then I got some more reviews coming. I'm reviewing Double Dragon Gaiden, finally. I'm also reviewing Genshin Impact, of all things, if you could believe it. And then it's not Ava, it's Era. When Era History Untold comes out, I am 100% going to play that. I'm actually very excited about that release. And we'll be doing a review on that. So keep your eyes out for that. Of course, we have this podcast. We have OMGM. And I'm back to streaming on the semi-regs Tuesdays. So I don't really have any good games to be streaming right now, but I'm trying to stream anyway, so check those out. You guys can also reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on the X at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Our link is in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. I do also want to say one final last-minute plug. The last episode of Prelude to Divorce, where we play What Beats Rock, myself and Melissa, it is a one-off. We're only ever going to play that game once. It was one of the funniest episodes I've ever done with her. It's 35 minutes of your life. Please go check it out. Just came out this last Sunday. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And go check out whatbeatsrock.com. You will not be saddened. So yeah, other than that, you guys keep watching, listening. We'll keep making them. We'll see you guys next time. Oh, we're up to 503 now. Nice.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff blow up over the last week. Me and Wiz did a kind of a hot and button issue on the other podcast. Mm-hmm. The whole species race thing.
Oh, gee. Yeah, that's it's a sticky one there.
It is a sticky one. He wanted to do it, and I was like, all right, we'll do it. And we did it. I think we did okay. I'm still nervous because whenever we do stuff like that, I get real, nervous about it, you know? Like, even my opinion, I feel like I'm being fair, but at the same time, I'm like, God, anybody could take what I'm saying the wrong way, and then it's a bad situation. Personally, I think species, it makes the most sense to me. It's always made the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that the creatures can mate with us, they're completely different biological creatures. To the point where their abilities are different. They're different. A cat, a tiger and a lion can mate with each other. They get a liger. They're different. They're species. Wiz was like, that's a good point. I don't like species. It's too scientific. He's like, you should go with lineage or ancestral or something like that. So it was a good podcast. But we got 22 views on mine, and his page got 100 hits. And then my Wayfinder review got 44 views, and Riders Republic got 29 views, which is a bummer because I hate.
I'm surprised there's 29 people even still playing that game.
Dude, that game is fucking full of people. Like,
Really?
yeah, don't spit at that game. Like, I don't know why we haven't heard more about that. So, like, I went to review it, and there is people everywhere in it. Everywhere. I never loaded into a server with less than 200 people in it.
Jesus.
Like, that game is huge, and I don't understand it. Like, I don't think it's a terrible game, but it's like ADHD the game. Like, it's just shit is being flung at you. The other thing that I don't like about it is it's a race game. It's a race game. It's Forza Horizon with bicycles. It's not a tricks game. You can do tricks in them, but there's no, like, tricks courses. Like, I played this thing for 6 hours, never ran into anything with tricks except for the skateboarding. But the skateboarding, yes, skateboarding, the most well-known extreme sport that has ever existed on the face of this planet, skateboarding, is a DLC. That cost $7.50. Like, I was like I was a negative review because I'm like, they cut this fucking thing into shit. It has some great ideas that are buried in neon fucking microtransaction bullshit. Very, very Ubisoft. But like, if you go to the review, just watch the first 5 minutes of the review, and you'll see me in a map. And the map, every little dot that's a white dot with a person head, is a person in the game. It is unfathomable. I call it out in the review. I'm like, look, I know Game Pass gives a bump when it goes into Game Pass, but there are people playing this game. Like, a lot of people playing this game. A asinine amount of people who are playing this game.
That's crazy.
It is.
That is so
crazy. They have this thing called a mass race, and I played it back because remember I got into the betas. Remember, like I got into a couple of playtest betas. They had this thing called a mass race, which is the coolest part about the game. Easily, it's basically like a battle royale that's a race. Like, it's like 64 people. You can all run into each other, and it's all downhill races that are like 15 minutes long and require you to like do more than one thing, like switch to a snowboard, to switch to a bike, to something else. I never waited in those lobbies. I was like, I'm sure I'm not even going to be able to do the mass races because nobody's playing this. No fucking way. We got 64 people instantaneously. If I didn't make it there by the time the countdown went out, I didn't get into the mass race. Like, it is an insane amount of people playing this game.
That's wild to me because I remember when it first came out, I think it really reviewed very well, and I think it was like buggy as fuck too.
No, it didn't. It didn't at all, and it's one of the reasons I didn't buy it, and I still didn't